Good morning, students. Once again, you are all welcome to SBR online classes. This is the third day of our class. In previous 2 days, we have discussed about the introduction part and methods of preparations of the topic, that is halo and halo rings. Hope you are enjoying the classes. And yesterday we have discussed about the methods of preparations of haloalkanes. In these methods of preparations of haloalkanes, we have discussed about preparation of haloalkanes from alkanes, preparation of haloalkane from alkenes, as well as from the alcohols compounds. In that preparation of haloalkane from alcohols, totally three again different methods we have. First one is by using hydrogen halide HX. Next one is by using PCl5 or PCl3. Or similarly, you can go with the preparation of haloalkane by using thionyl chloride also. Preparation of haloalkanes by using thionyl chloride is commonly called as Darjan's reactions. Yesterday, while completing the class, I mentioned about one question. What is the product when alcohols is going to be treated with different physical state of PCl5. Whenever this is PCl5, this is also going to be PCl5. If this is solid and if this is going to be gas, whether the nature of the product is going to be same or different. Naturally, yesterday we have discussed when alcohol combines with PCl5, phosphorus pentachloride, it gives rise to RCl, that is alkyl chloride, plus POCl3 plus this is HCl. It is a common reaction applicable for preparation of alkyl chloride. But the question is, when PCl5 is present in two different physical states, that is in solid state and in case of gaseous state, then what is the nature of the product? The nature of the product depends upon the nature of particular alcohol. If this alcohol is going to be optically active, if it contains chiral carbon atom, if it contains chiral carbon atom, any alcohol containing chiral carbon atom, then the product is going to be different. What is that product in case of this one? So here, in case of gaseous PCl5 as well as in case of solid PCl5. Yesterday I mentioned about this one. Solid PCl5 always exists as PCl4 plus and this is going to be PCl6 minus. Because of this particular nature of solid PCl5, so here in case of gaseous PCl5, there is a particular product commonly called as the retention of configuration, and here there is a particular product that is going to be commonly known as inversion of configuration. This is the only difference in the product when a different physical state of PCl5 is considered. So inversion of configuration and retention of configuration. Again we will discuss in detail about this retention as well as inversion in the optical isomerism related to these haloalkanes as well as haloanes. Remember, this retention and inversion difference in the particular product depends upon the presence of this particular chiral carbon atom. If the compound, that is alcohol, which does not contain any chiral carbon atom, then there is no difference of that particular retention or inversion of the product. So just you have to remember about this particular reaction. When the alcohol containing chiral carbon atom is treated with a different physical state of PCl5, so product is going to be inversion as well as the retention of configuration. Probably you have not come across with retention as well as inversion of configuration. So as I mentioned just now, we will discuss about retention, inversion of configuration with respect to the optical activity of haloalkanes. So next method of preparation of haloalkane is the fourth method is going to be number fourth one. It is halogen exchange method. Fourth method of preparation of haloalkane is halogen exchange method. What is this halogen exchange method? In this halogen exchange method, first one, two types of reactions we have. First one is commonly known as the Finkel-Stein reaction. Two important name reactions we come across. Finkelstein reaction. Remember, Finkelstein reaction is applicable for the preparation of only iodides, alkyl iodides. For the preparation of alkyl iodides, we use this reaction, that is Finkelstein reaction. So here, in case of Finkelstein reaction, this is Rx. When this is treated with sodium iodide NaI in presence of acetone, it gives rise to Ri plus this is NaX. So preparation of alkyl iodide takes place in this reaction by using the alkyl halide. Here one halide is exchanged by the corresponding iodine here. Here X is going to be either chlorine or it may be corresponding bromine. It should not be fluorine here, only chlorine or bromine is going to be. Alkyl chloride or alkyl bromide is treated with sodium iodide, it gives rise to this alkyl iodide. One simple example I will consider here, CH3Br methyl bromide, when it combines with sodium iodide, NaI, sodium iodide in presence of acetone. Preferably it is going to be dry acetone compound. Here the compound obtained is CH3I plus NaBr. CH3I plus NaBr. What is the role of acetone in this reaction? Role of acetone. Acetone is a particular organic solvent. Acetone that is commonly called as acetone, but IUPAC name of this compound is going to be the propanone compound. It's an organic solvent. Acetone is going to be preferred here because this sodium iodide, nature of sodium iodide. Here in case of sodium, instead of sodium iodide, we cannot go with the sodium chloride, we cannot go with corresponding sodium bromide. Only sodium iodide is considered here. Why sodium iodide is going to be preferred in presence of acetone means, out of these three compounds, sodium chloride, sodium bromide, sodium iodide, no doubt these three compounds are going to be ionic in nature, but out of these three compounds, the sodium iodide is going to be having some percentage of covalent character. Because of that covalent character, sodium iodide dissolves in case of acetone. When sodium iodide dissolves in case of acetone, it produces free iodide ions. Those iodide ions replacing the existing halogen from this alkyl halide, and it converts into respective alkyl iodide. Sodium chloride as well as sodium bromide are predominantly ionic compounds. Because of that reason, they are not soluble in case of acetone. When they are not soluble, there is no formation of free Cl minus or free Br minus. Because of that reason, sodium iodide is going to be commonly used in this reaction in presence of acetone, and it gets converted into NaBr. And one more thing here, whatever amount of sodium halide is produced, either it is NaBr or it may be sometimes NaCl. Here if you take CH3Cl, here the product is going to be NaCl is going to be there. And here in case of this particular product, this particular acetone converts this one into formation of a precipitate. According to Le Chatelier principle, acetone also facilitates the reaction in case of forward reaction. Hence, acetone is commonly used as a solvent in this reaction. One important thing to be remembered about acetone is going to be, in acetone, NaI is going to be soluble and it produces free iodide ions, and also acetone helps in the formation of precipitate of sodium bromide or sodium chloride, so that according to Le Chatelier principle, the rate of forward reaction goes on increases. In that case, methyl iodide can be separated very easily. So such type of reaction is commonly called as Finkelstein reaction. As I mentioned, it is applicable for the preparation of only alkyl iodide from the alkyl chloride. Important name, that is second one. It is commonly called as Schwarz reaction. This Schwarz reaction is also an halogen exchange method. It is applicable for the preparation of, this one is applicable for the preparation of fluorides. Fluorides are prepared by using this particular Schwarz reaction. Fluorides. In case of this particular Schwarz reaction, this is Rx is there. When it is treated with the molecules such as AgF, silver fluoride. Any metallic fluoride is commonly used in case of this reaction. It gets converted into Ref plus this is going to be AgX. Here again X is going to be either Cl or it is going to be corresponding Br is going to be commonly used Cl or Br. Here if I go with one example, CHCl plus AzF silver fluoride, and here when it is heated it gives rise to CH3F methyl fluoride plus AzCl. So in addition to this particular AzF silver fluoride, other different types of fluorides can also be used in this reaction, that is mercurous fluoride Hg2F2. Next one is going to be SbF3, that is stannic fluoride. Next one is going to be COF3. So all these metallic fluorides can be used in the preparation of alkyl fluorides based upon this particular Schwarz reaction. So these are the two simple named reactions based on the preparation of iodides as well as the corresponding fluoride compounds. So preparation of iodide is commonly called as Michelson reaction, and preparation of fluorides is generally known as the Schwarz reaction. After this, another method of preparation of these compounds, haloalkanes, one more named reactions we have, that is Hunsdiker method. Number 5, Hunsdiker method. In this Hunsdiker method, preparation of, especially this is preparation of alkyl bromide takes place. Remember, preparation of alkyl bromides. What's the name of the reaction for the preparation of alkyl fluorides? It is Schwarz reaction. Alkyl iodide, it is Michelson reaction, and alkyl bromide, it is said to be Hunsdiker method. So this one takes place from silver salt of fatty acids. Silver salt of fatty acids. By using silver salt of fatty acid, it is possible to prepare alkyl bromides. What are silver salt of fatty acids? Here RCOOAG. It is nothing but silver salt of carboxylate or silver salt of generally fatty acid. Fatty acids are nothing but these are the aliphatic monocarboxylic acid. Aliphatic monocarboxylic acids are generally called as fatty acids. When silver is replacing the hydrogen atom, those compounds are called as silver salts of fatty acid. These are found to be the salt because of the presence of positive charge on the AC and negative charge on the oxygen. When this particular silver salt of fatty acid is treated with a bromine, in presence of a particular substance called as CCl4, carbon tetrachloride, the compound obtained is RBr plus this is AgBr, RBr plus AgBr. One of the bromine atom goes with alkyl group, AgBr, plus remaining compound is carbon dioxide gets eliminated. Then what is the role of CCl4 in this reaction? Mainly CCl4 helps in the polarization of Br2 molecule. For the polarization of Br2 molecule, this is bromine and this is going to be bromine. Here one of the bromine atom should get positive charge, another atom is going to be getting negative charge. For the polarization of this particular bromine molecule, we have to use this particular CCl4. So CCl4 helps with the polarization of the corresponding bromine molecule. So one of the bromine goes to AC, that is the bromine which carries negative charge goes with AC, bromine carrying positive charge goes with this corresponding alkyl group. So the compound produced is going to be RBr. One simple example for this reaction, CH3COO, this is Az. What's the name of this compound? Silver acetate, or you can name this compound as silver salt of acetic acid also. When silver acetate compound is treated with a bromine in presence of CCl4, carbon tetrachloride, it forms CH3Br plus, what's the other compound? AgBr plus CO2, carbon dioxide. So this is simple reaction for the preparation of alkyl bromides only. All the alkyl bromides can be prepared by using this method. It is commonly called as Hunsdiker method. So preparation of Alkyl bromide takes place by using Hans-Dicker method. Preparation of alkyl fluoride takes place by using Schwarz reaction. Preparation of alkyl iodide takes place by using Finkelstein reaction. So these are some of the methods of the preparation of haloalkane compounds. We have discussed about the preparation of haloalkane from the alkanes. In that some different examples we have discussed. Preparation of haloalkane takes place from the alkenes, especially by using Markovnikov rule. And preparation of, there also we have discussed about the allylic substitution reactions. And preparation of haloalkane takes place from the respective alcohol compounds. In that, three different methods are there: by using hydrogen halide, by using PCl Cl3, next one by using SOCl2, that is commonly called as Darjan's reaction, and fourth method we have discussed about halogen exchange method. In that one reaction is going to be Finkelstein reaction, next one is going to be Schwarz reaction, and last method of preparation of this haloalkane is from Hans-Dicker reaction, that is preparation of alkyl bromide compounds. So students, these are the some important methods of the preparations of haloalkane compounds, only haloalkane compounds. Right? After the preparation of haloalkane compound, next one is the preparation of haloarene compounds. Haloarenes. In the first class itself, we have mentioned about haloarene compounds. Haloarenes are also called as aryl halides. Some simple haloarene compounds is going to be this one. It is chlorobenzene. Next one, this is going to be the bromobenzene. Like this, we have got iodobenzene. So many examples, iodobenzene. Next one, here we can take the example of another compound, that is CH2Cl. Actually, these compounds are not considered as aryl halides or haloarene. These are going to be called as the alkyl halides, but basically these compounds are going to be regarded as haloalkanes itself. But because of this cyclic benzene nucleus, it is commonly called as alkyl halide. Like that, we have the compounds like CH, this is Cl and this is Cl. So many compounds of this particular halogen substituted compounds we have. So how to prepare these particular haloarenes? Whether these methods of preparations are going to be very similar to the haloalkanes? No. Entirely it is going to be different. Here we have got different methods of preparations of haloarenes. First method of preparation of haloarene by halogenation of the corresponding hydrocarbon. This is by halogenation of hydrocarbon, or we can say benzene. Halogenation of benzene. Benzene we can say, or we can go with different types of substituted benzene, that is hydrocarbons. Here in case of this one, in class 11th already you have read about this one. This is benzene molecule when it is treated with chlorine in presence of anhydrous AlCl3. In first PUC in the topic hydrocarbons, last part aromatic hydrocarbons, has read about four important mechanisms: chlorination of benzene, nitration of benzene, sulfonation of benzene, Friedel-Crafts alkylation, as well as Friedel-Crafts acylation. So one of the example is here, chlorination of benzene is going to be there in presence of anhydrous AlCl3. Then the compound produced is going to be chlorobenzene plus this is HCl. This is the simplest method of preparation of the haloarene compound. Here the compound obtained is going to be chlorobenzene. What is the function of anhydrous AlCl3? This is going to be acting as an helps in the generation of electrophile. Basically this one is going to be considered as an Lewis acid. It helps in the generation of electrophile. What is the electrophile which is produced in this reaction? Electrophile. The electrophile is going to be Cl plus, that is commonly called as chloronium ion, that is produced by the Cl, that is chlorine molecule, combines with the AlCl3. It gets converted into AlCl4 minus plus, this is Cl plus. Already has read about this particular reaction, even mechanism also has read it, so no need to discuss about mechanism of this reaction. So the main electrophile produced in this reaction is going to be Cl plus. Like that, we can go with bromination of this one as well as other different types of reaction. But iodination, I'll explain. Iodination is going to be something different. Here, in addition to AlCl3 anhydrous AlCl3, we can use anhydrous AlBr3. We can go with ZnCl2. We can go with some other particular substances which are going to be acting as an Lewis acid in case of this particular reaction. Different types of metal halides can be used as Lewis acid in case of this particular reaction. AlCl3 is there, AlBr3, ZnCl2 is there. Even we can go with FeCl2. Next one is going to be FeCl3. All these substances can be used as Lewis acid in case of hallucination of benzene. One more example with related to this reaction. This is the compound of toluene. Toluene, methyl benzene is there. When this compound is treated with the chlorine in presence of same anhydrous AlCl3 halogen carrier, any of the substance can be used in that particular reaction. Now whether this particular Cl chlorine, that is electrophile, goes to whether it is goes with ortho position or this meta position or with the para position. It all depends upon the presence of existing substituent. As you know very well, this methyl group CH3 group is found to be an electron releasing group. Electron releasing groups are found to be ortho and para directing groups. When electron releasing group is present, it is found to be ortho and para directing group. So naturally, the electrophile attacks on ortho and para position. When it attacks on ortho and para position, so what is the product obtained in this reaction? This is CH3, it is Cl plus. It is CH3, next one is found to be Cl plus, it is 2 moles of HCl. This is 2 mole and this is also found to be 2 mole. It is orthochlorotoluene and next one is called as parachlorotoluene. So methyl substituted chlorobenzene is going to be there. So orthochlorotoluene and parachlorotoluene is going to be obtained. Usually wherever the alkyl group is going to be present, alkyl groups are generally considered as electron releasing group. In addition to this one, OH is also electron releasing group, NH2 is going to be electron releasing group, alkoxy is going to be electron. So many different types of groups we have. All those groups are found to be electron releasing group. In presence of these electron releasing group, the particular electrophile attacks on ortho and para position. So this is ortho isomer and this is found to be para isomer. So this type of reaction is generally called as halogenation of benzene. Here we can prepare only chlorobenzene because no substituent on this benzene. But when substituent is present like this, then there is a formation of two products, that is ortho as well as para isomer compounds. Second method of preparation of these haloarenes is going to be by direct halogenation. By direct halogenation. In this method, we are not using any particular Lewis acid. Direct halogenation takes place and this particular reaction takes place by free radical mechanism. So how this reaction takes place? Suppose if you go with a particular methyl benzene compound, when it is treated with chlorine in presence of diffuse sunlight. Got a difference between these two reactions? Here it is in presence of anhydrous AlCl3, which helps in the generation of the particular electrophile, the Cl plus. Here there is no question of generation of electrophile. Electrophile is not generated in this reaction because there is no any halogen carrier. So this particular methyl benzene plus chlorine, what happens? Side chain halogenation. What is the meaning of side chain halogenation? One of the hydrogen is going to be replaced by the corresponding chlorine. As a result, the compound is CH2Cl. What's the name of this particular product? It is commonly called as benzyl chloride. It is benzyl chloride. The compound is going to be benzyl chloride. If the particular minus HCl is going to be obtained here, if the particular product is going to be further, it is chlorinated. Again, one more hydrogen atom is replaced by chlorine, then the compound is going to be CH, this is Cl and this is Cl. It is called as benzyl chloride. Benzyl chloride. Continuously, the hydrogen atoms are replaced by that chlorine atom, benzyl chloride. further halogenation is going to be carried out, then finally the compound is with all the three chlorine atom. It is Cl, this is Cl, this is Cl. It is known as benzo trichloride. Benzo trichloride. So halogenation takes place continuously. First one, toluene containing 3 hydrogen atom replaced by 1 chlorine atom, so benzyl chloride. One more hydrogen atom is replaced by chlorine atom, benzyl chloride. If all the 3 hydrogen atom from this compound is replaced by 3 chlorine atom, it is called as benzo trichloride. So this is also one of the method of preparation of alkyl. Those are not haloarenes. Haloarenes are those compounds where halogen is directly present on the benzene nucleus, but those are commonly called as alkyl halides. Okay. The next method of preparation of haloarenes is going to be third one, from benzene diazonium chloride. What's the meaning of benzene diazonium chloride? This compound, first I'll explain about formation of benzene diazonium chloride, how this compound is produced. Benzene diazonium chloride, this one is obtained from the compound of aniline. Aniline is a compound containing NH2 group. When this particular aniline is treated with NaNO2 plus, this is HCl. NaNO2 plus HCl at a temperature of 273 to 278 Kelvin, that is 0 to 5 degrees Celsius. Now the compound obtained in this reaction is said to be, it is N triple bond NCl minus, this is plus. So this compound is commonly produced. This compound is known as benzene diazonium chloride. Now I'll use this compound as BDC. BDC refers to what? Benzene diazonium chloride. This method of preparation of benzene diazonium chloride from aniline is referred to be as diazotization reaction. Diazotization reaction. Again, we'll discuss this particular reaction in case of amines. Amines with mechanism also we'll discuss how this compound is produced. Benzene diazonium chloride. So azo refers to generally nitrogen. So this compound is commonly called as diazonium salt or benzene diazonium chloride. Sometimes Cl is replaced by X. In case of this one, here sometimes we represent this particular compound also N2 plus and X minus. It is called as benzene diazonium salt. But here chlorine is present, so it is called as benzene diazonium chloride. Now, by using this benzene diazonium chloride, it is possible to prepare different types of haloarene compounds by using benzene diazonium chloride. Here again some different methods we have. First method is going to be, that is Sand-Meyer's reaction. First method is Sand-Meyer's reaction. What is this Sand-Meyer's reaction? Here starting compound should be which one? Starting compound should be benzene diazonium chloride. But how benzene diazonium chloride is obtained? By treating aniline compound with sodium nitrate plus HCl. When sodium nitrate and HCl is going to be combined together, it produces, we can write HNO2 also. HNO2 plus, this is going to be NaCl. What is the name of HNO2? It is nitrous acid. You know about HNO3. What is HNO3? Nitric acid. This is going to be HNO2. It is nitrous acid. Here oxidation state of nitrogen is +5. Here oxidation state of nitrogen is going to be +3. It is nitrous acid. It is going to be nitric acid. Now in case of Sand-Meyer's reaction, we have to prepare haloarene compound starting from benzene diazonium chloride. Now this is benzene diazonium chloride. This is NCl minus, this is positive charge. When this particular compound is treated with Cu2Cl2 and this compound is treated with Cu2Br2. So the product obtained in this reaction, it is going to be Cl plus nitrogen gas gets eliminated. Similarly, in case of this reaction, this reaction the product obtained is bromobenzene, and here also nitrogen gas gets eliminated. Once again we have to discuss all these reactions, Sandmeyer's reaction, diazotization reaction in case of the amines, but here as far as methods of preparation of these halorine considered, Sandmeyer's reaction is going to be used for the preparation of chlorobenzene and bromobenzene from this compound is known as benzene diazonium chloride. What's the name of these particular salts? It is cuprous chloride, Cu2Cl2. Oxidation state of copper is +1 and here also +1. In lower oxidation state it is called as cuprous chloride and this compound is called as cuprous bromide. When cuprous chloride is used, the compound is chlorobenzene. Cuprous bromide is used, the compound is going to be what? Bromobenzene. Then how to prepare the iodobenzene compound by using the same method? One simple difference between the preparation of chlorobenzene and iodobenzene. Chlorobenzene, bromobenzene and iodobenzene. Chlorobenzene and bromobenzene already we have prepared, but this iodobenzene cannot be prepared by the same method for the preparation of iodobenzene. This is benzene diazonium chloride, N, this is Cl minus plus. So simply this compound is treated with the Ki, potassium iodide. The formation of which compound takes place? Iodobenzene. Plus this is going to be N2 gas. Remember, and one more compound KCl. Remember, this reaction is not considered as an, it is not an, this one is not an Sandmeyer's reaction. This reaction is not a part of Sandmeyer's reaction. So this is a separate reaction. Sandmeyer's reaction means preparation of only chlorobenzene and bromobenzene from benzene diazonium salt. This is Sandmeyer's reaction. In the second method, that is, we have to use same benzene diazonium chloride only, but we are using different reagent. It is Gattermann reactions. Gattermann reaction. So what is this Gattermann reaction? Here also we are using the starting compound as same benzene diazonium chloride itself, no difference. Don't get confused. This is NaCl, this is plus. So here also starting compound is going to be benzene diazonium chloride. So this is treated with Cu over HCl. This is Cu over HBr. Just this is the difference with respect to Sandmeyer's reaction. There we are used for cuprous chloride or cuprous bromide. Here copper over HCl and copper over HBr. So the compound obtained in this reaction is going to be chlorobenzene plus N2, and the compound obtained in case of this one is going to be bromobenzene plus this is going to be nitrogen gas. So what is the difference between Sandmeyer's reaction and Gattermann reaction? Just to concentrate, starting compound is same. Product is also going to be same, only it is going to be difference with respect to the reagent. So this particular Gattermann reaction is generally called as modified Sandmeyer reaction. It is just a modified Sandmeyer's reaction, nothing else. And the yield of the product is going to be very less. It is up to 40 to 50% only. The yield of the product in case of this reaction is only 40 to 50%, but here generally yield of the compound is going to be more than that 50%. So difference between Gattermann reaction and Sandmeyer's reaction: if copper over HCl, copper over hydrogen bromide, Gattermann; if cuprous chloride or cuprous bromide is used, it is commonly called as what? Sandmeyer's reaction. Students, one thing I will make it very clear: just by seeing all these reactions in your mobile phone or any particular visuals, you cannot get clarity about the reaction. It is mandatory to practice all those reactions. You need to write down all those reactions once, twice, like that. Number of times it is writing practice is going to be required about remembering about all these reactions. Generally, I used to mention in my classes that organic chemistry is just like an volatile subject. Volatile subject means it evaporates very quickly. So in order to remember all these different types of concept, try to understand the concept. Along with that, writing practice is also going to be important. So wherein just by seeing all those reactions, it is not it is very difficult to remember all these reactions. So one from benzene diazonium chloride, one is Sandmeyer's reaction, next one is called as Gattermann reaction. How to prepare fluorobenzene from the same benzene diazonium chloride. Fluorobenzene from the same diazonium compounds. Preparation of fluorobenzenes. So third one, C, I'll mention here. That is the name of this reaction is called as Ball-Schiemann reaction. Ball-Schiemann reaction is applicable. This one is applicable for the preparation of only aryl fluorides. Only for the preparation of aryl fluorides we have to go with Ball-Schiemann reaction. What is this Ball-Schiemann reaction? Just to concentrate, this is the compound of N2X. I'll mention here N2X. When this compound is treated with HbF4. HbF4. What is the name of HbF4? It is fluoroboric acid. Fluoroboric acid. It is called as fluoroboric acid, HbF4. So what happens here when this compound is treated with fluoroboric acid? Now the compound produces an intermediate compound produces said to be this is N2 plus and BF4 minus. From this HbF4, this is HbF4 compound. So here this gets ionized into H plus and BF4 minus. H plus and BF4 minus. This H plus which is obtained from HbF4 combines with halide ion, that is eliminated as HX. Now N2BF4 minus an intermediate compound is obtained. Further this compound is heated together. It gives rise to the compound that is fluorobenzene. One of the fluorine goes with this aryl group fluorobenzene plus N2 molecule plus another compound that is BF3. What's the name? It is boron trifluoride. So this method of preparation of fluorobenzene from diazonium salt is commonly called as Ball-Schiemann reaction. We have come across with number of named reactions. We have come across with Darjan's reaction, Gruve's method. Next one is going to be Finkelson reaction, Schwarz reaction, Hunsaker method. The next one is going to be Sandmann's reaction, Gattermann reaction, Ball-Schiemann. So many named reactions we have in case of these organic compounds. So these are the three important methods of preparation of haloarenes from the benzene diazonium salt. First we have discussed about Sandmann's, next one is going to be Gattermann, and last one is going to be what? Ball-Schiemann reaction. Next one, after the preparation of these particular haloarene from the diazonium salt, the fourth method. First method it is going to be halogenation of benzene. Next one is going to be direct halogenation, formation of different substituted products are obtained. Third one is going to be from benzene diazonium salt. Fourth one is going to be called as, here also, this Hunsaker method. Just I have discussed about Hunsaker method of preparation of haloalkanes. Here also in the preparation of haloarenes also Hunsaker method is commonly used. This is from silver salt of aromatic fatty acids. There we have used about aliphatic fatty acids, but here we have to use aromatic fatty acid. Already I have mentioned about Hunsaker reaction in the preparation of haloalkane. Can you mention Hunsaker method is applicable for the preparation of alkyl fluoride or alkyl chloride or alkyl bromide or alkyl iodide? So this method is meant for the preparation of only alkyl bromide compounds. Alkyl bromides. So here the starting compound, just I'll mention here COOAZ. It is silver salt of benzoic acid, or you can consider this one as silver benzoate. This compound is referred to be as silver benzoate. When this compound is treated with the Br2 and in presence of CCl4, what's the product obtained? This is bromobenzene plus AzBr, silver bromide plus carbon dioxide. So this method of preparation of bromobenzene is known as Hunsaker method. Remember students, Hunts-Dicker method is applicable for the preparation of alkyl halides as well as aryl halides, but only difference that we have taken the alkyl salt of fatty acid here, aromatic salt of the corresponding fatty acid. So it is treated with bromine in presence of CCl4, it forms bromine. Already I have mentioned about the role of CCl4. What is the role of CCl4? Once again, CCl4 is a molecule which helps in the polarization of the bromine molecule. When bromine molecule undergoes polarization, it can attack easily on that particular aryl molecule. As a result, the formation of bromobenzene takes place. So these are the some important methods of preparations of haloarenes. In haloalkanes also we have discussed some method. In haloarenes totally there are 4 different methods, actually 4 methods, but in that one we have discussed. In second method we have discussed about Gaterman reaction, then Sand-Mears reaction as well as Ball-Schiemann reaction. So totally these are the complete methods of the preparation of haloalkanes as well as haloarenes. If we go with the industrial point, industrially we are getting this particular chlorobenzene by using one method that is commonly called as Rasik's process. By using this Rasik's process also, it is possible to get the haloarenes compound, and that is commonly, just I'll mention here, this is industrial method. Industrial method of preparation of haloarenes. And name of this particular reaction is known as Rasik's process, Rasik's method. In this particular Rasik's process, it is possible to get haloarene compound by using HCl. When HCl and oxygen is passed over benzene in presence of CuCl2, the compound obtained is going to be the chlorobenzene plus this is going to be H2O, and it is also heated at a temperature of around 400 degrees Celsius. So this method of preparation of chlorobenzene from the benzene by using HCl in presence of copper chloride is commonly called as Rasik's process. That is also one of the method, but these are all laboratory method. This one is going to be particularly industrial method of preparation of chlorobenzene compound. Alright students, so we have discussed about complete methods of preparations of haloalkanes as well as haloarene compounds. After the preparation of haloalkanes and haloarenes, preparation of haloalkanes and haloarene compounds, next one, that is physical properties of haloalkanes and haloarenes. Haloalkanes and haloarenes. Physical properties. Physical properties means we come across with physical state of the compound, solubility of the compound, density of the compound, melting point, boiling point, so many properties we come across. First one, if you think about the physical state. In case of physical state, the lower members of these haloalkanes, particularly haloalkanes only, lower members of haloalkanes are found to be corresponding gaseous state will be there. Gaseous state, they are present, they are existing in gaseous state. Up to 18 carbon atoms, the compounds are found to be in case of liquid state, and more than 18 carbon atoms, if they are present, they are going to be existing as colorless solids. But one thing you remember, the particular compounds of these halogen derivatives of especially bromides and iodides. Bromides and iodides are going to be producing some color when they are exposed to sunlight. Compounds of bromides and iodides, when they are exposed to sunlight, they are going to be exhibiting certain amount of color, but fluorides and corresponding chlorides are found to be colorless compounds. And usually haloarenes are generally referred to be as liquids, but higher members are also found to be solids. But in case of haloalkanes, gaseous state, liquid state as well as this particular solid state is going to be possible. Very lower, that is 3 to 4 carbon atom, if they are going to be there, they are going to be in gaseous state. Up to 18 carbon atom, they are going to be in liquid state. More than 18 carbon atoms are present, then they are going to be found to be colorless solids. First one, physical state. Second one is going to be the solubility. Solubility. Whether these compounds of haloalkanes are polar compounds or non-polar compounds. These compounds are polar compounds. When the compound is going to be polar, that is going to be soluble in case of polar solvent. But these compounds of haloalkanes and haloarenes are generally insoluble in case of water. So, solubility of the compound in case of water mainly depends upon the formation of the bonds. The compound, if it is soluble in case of water, it should form the hydrogen bond. But these compounds do not form the hydrogen bond. Because of neither they form the hydrogen bond nor they break the particular hydrogen bond existing between the water molecules. Because of this reason, these compounds are found to be insoluble in water. But in some of the texts there it is mentioned that lower members of haloalkanes are found to be partially soluble. Solubility extent is going to be very less, but higher members and other different types of compounds of haloarenes are found to be completely insoluble in case of water. What is the reason for insolubility of these compounds in water? These compounds are found to be insoluble in water. That is mainly because neither they form hydrogen bond nor they able to break the hydrogen bond which is present within the water molecule. This is one water molecule, like that number of water molecules are going to be present. Between water molecule there is an existence of hydrogen bond. When any compound break this hydrogen bond, so usually it is going to be soluble in case of water. So these compound they do not form the hydrogen bond or they do not break the corresponding existing hydrogen bonds within the water molecule. Hence these compounds are found to be almost insoluble in case of water. So after solubility of these compounds in case of water, whether these compounds are compounds of haloalkanes and haloarenes are soluble in organic solvent. Naturally, these compounds are found to be organic in nature and those compounds are easily soluble in case of organic solvents. Haloalkanes and haloarenes are easily soluble in case of organic solvent, but they are found to be insoluble in case of water. Next one, boiling point and melting point of the compounds. Boiling point as well as melting point. Usually the boiling point of the particular compound depend upon the type of the force of intermolecular force of attraction. Greater the intermolecular force of attraction, greater is the boiling point of respective compound. Not only haloalkane, it is applicable for almost all the compounds. Now in case of the compounds of alkyl fluoride, this is alkyl chloride, next one is alkyl bromide, next one is going to be alkyl iodide. We are having different compounds of halogen derivatives of fluorides, bromides as well as iodide compounds are there. Out of these compounds, which one is having highest boiling point? The boiling point of alkyl iodide is maximum than bromide. Bromide is more than chloride. Chloride is more when compared to fluorine. It is mainly because of maximum amount of force of attraction. Why force of attraction is maximum in case of this one? It is because of size of the iodine as well as the total surface area. When surface area of the corresponding compound is maximum, force of attraction is going to be maximum, and this is going to be having minimum force of attraction. So because of this minimum force of attraction, so alkyl fluorides are having lowest boiling point, and this particular alkyl iodides are going to be having highest boiling point. Another reason, it is also depending upon the molecular mass of the compounds. Alkyl iodides are having highest molecular mass, alkyl fluorides are having lowest molecular mass. So because of that reason, alkyl iodides are generally having highest boiling point compared to other different types of halogen derivatives. Now if you consider one particular compound CH3Cl, this is CH2Cl2, next one CHCl3, next one CCl4. These are all halogen derivatives. In case of this one, which is having highest boiling point is going to be naturally with respect to the compound having more number of halogen atom. This is a compound with more number of halogen atom compared to next one, and this is a compound with the lowest number of halogen atoms. So boiling point is directly related to what? Number of halogen atoms. Number of halogen atom. Greater the number of halogen atom, greater is the boiling point of the respective compound. Next one. Suppose if you go with the compound of CH3Cl, next one is CH3CH2Cl, and next one CH3CH2CH2Cl. Out of these three compounds, same halogen atom is present but different alkyl group is there. It is the smallest alkyl group, largest alkyl group, again largest alkyl group. Naturally, propyl chloride is having highest boiling point compared to ethyl. Ethyl chloride is having highest boiling point compared to what? Methyl chloride. Here, the particular boiling point of the compound depends upon the length of the alkyl chain. As the length of the alkyl chain goes on increases, boiling point of the compound also increases. Next one, if we go with example CH3CH2CH2CH2Br. Okay. Next one, this is CH3CH2CH. This is CH3. This one is going to be Br. Now next one CH3, this is carbon CH3, and this is Br. So out of these three compounds, what's the name of this compound? 1-bromobutane. Commonly it is called as N-butyl bromide. It is known as 2-bromobutane. Secondary butyl bromide commonly. What is our common name? Tertiary butyl bromide. And IUPAC name is 2-bromo-2-methyl propane compound. Out of these three compounds, this is first one I'll mark. It is the second one, and next one is going to be the third one. Out of these three compounds, which is having highest boiling point. Remember, boiling point depends upon the surface area. Our boiling point depends upon the carbon chain. This compound is going to be having maximum surface area. This compound is having minimum surface area. This compound is going to be having again less surface area. As the branching goes on increase, this is going to be a straight chain compound. It is having one branch. It is going to be having completely two branches. As the branching goes on increases, the boiling point of the compound goes on decreases. So first one is having highest boiling point compared to second one. Second is having highest boiling point compared to third one. So as the branching of the alkyl chain or branching of the molecule increases, the boiling point of the compound goes on decreases. So straight chain compounds are having highest boiling point compared to what? The branched chain compounds. So it is a highly branched molecule, so it is having lowest boiling point among these three compounds. So this is applicable especially for the isomers. You concentrate on those three examples. All those three compounds are isomers, having same molecular formula, same halogen atom is present, but boiling point is going to be different. It is mainly because of branching. Remember, as many times they asked about the question based upon the boiling point of different types of isomers. In case of isomeric compounds, as branching goes on increases, the boiling point goes on decreases. Now next one, if you consider about the melting point of the compound, generally melting point is going to be applicable for the compounds having more number of carbon atom. For that purpose, I will go with the examples of haloarine compounds. If I go with the particular haloarenes, it is a compound of chlorobenzene. This is dichlorobenzene, and this is also dichlorobenzene. Next one is going to be, this one is also going to be dichlorobenzene. What's the difference between these? Now if you think about the three different compounds of chlorine, what's the name of this one? Orthodichlorobenzene, that's metadichlorobenzene. Next one is going to be paradichlorobenzene. Out of these three compounds, which compound is going to be having highest melting point? Because these are going to be usually existing in solid state. If you think about the melting point of these particular compounds, melting point, here para isomer is having highest. This is ortho isomer, this is meta isomer, this is going to be para isomer. Once again, what's the name of this compound? Ortho dichlorobenzene or 1,2-dichlorobenzene, meta dichlorobenzene, 1,3-dichlorobenzene. This one is para dichlorobenzene or 1,4-dichlorobenzene. So melting point of these compound is considered here. Para isomer is having highest melting point over the ortho isomer. Ortho isomer is having highest melting point compared to what? Meta isomer. Why para isomer is having highest melting point? Para isomer is having highest melting point because of its particular symmetry. It's a linear molecule. Wherever the compound which are going to be having symmetrical in nature, they fits into the particular crystal lattice. Any particular molecule or the substance fits completely to crystal lattice, that particular compound is having highest melting point. So all symmetric molecules are going to be having highest melting point. So para isomer is also one of the symmetric molecule. It is having highest melting point compared to ortho isomer. Ortho isomer is having highest melting point compared to what? Para isomer. Next, after melting and boiling point, another particular property is going to be the dipole moment. Dipole moment. This property dipole moment is studied in chemical bonding in class 11. Dipole moment. Dipole moment generally is a product of distance and the electric charge. So here it depends upon the distance as well as the corresponding charge between those spaces. So what is the order of dipole moment of these components? I will consider some of the example here. HF, HCl, HBr and HI. Hydrogen halides are there. Next one CH3F, CH3Cl, next one CH3Br, last one CH3I. If you look into these two examples, what is the order of dipole moment of hydrogen halides? Dipole moment of hydrogen halides, if you think, fluorine is most electronegative atom, so naturally this one should be most dipole moment compared to HCl. HCl is going to be having highest dipole moment compared to HBr. HBr is going to be having highest dipole moment compared to this particular HI molecule. When this is the order of dipole moment with respect to hydrogen halides, what should be the correct order of dipole moment of this particular molecule? So when fluorine is most electronegative, here also fluorine is going to be there. So this methyl fluoride is having highest dipole moment compared to methyl chloride. Methyl chloride is having highest dipole moment compared to bromide, and this one is going to be iodide. If you are predicting this one, this is the incorrect order of dipole moment of these compounds. Here one simple exception we have, that is CH3Cl is having a highest dipole moment compared to CH3F. It's mainly because of the small size of the corresponding fluorine atom as well as the carbon halogen bond. Here dipole moment depending upon the both distance as well as the charge. So out of two parameters, distance as well as the corresponding charge, we have to concentrate, we have to examine which parameter dominates over the another one. So with respect to carbon and chlorine, with respect to corresponding carbon and chlorine, distance is going to be dominating over the corresponding charge. So slightly methyl chloride is having highest dipole moment compared to methyl fluoride. Next one is going to be naturally it is CH3Br, and last one it is CH3I. So this is a correct order of dipole moment of those four alkyl halide compounds, right? So another another set of example I will mention with respect to dipole moment of aromatic compounds. Already I took the example of this one, ortho-dichlorobenzene. Next one is going to be meta-dichlorobenzene. Next one is going to be para-dichlorobenzene. What is the order of dipole moment of these corresponding compounds? So the value of dipole moment, is inversely proportional to bond angle. Dipole moment is inversely related to the value of bond angle. Here this is the bond angle, here this is the bond angle, here this is the bond angle. This is a symmetric molecule, as already I have mentioned. When symmetric molecule is present, dipole moment is equal to 0. All symmetric molecules are going to be having 0 dipole moment. Out of these two, this is going to be having highest dipole moment compared to corresponding what? Meta isomer. So ortho isomer is having highest dipole moment compared to what? Meta isomer. Meta isomer is going to be having between ortho and meta, ortho is having highest dipole moment compared to meta, but para isomer is going to be having a 0 dipole moment. But all para isomers are not having 0 dipole moment. If you go with one example, it's not an halogen derivative. Suppose if I go with one compound SH, and this is going to be SH. It is also an para isomer, but here the particular dipole moment of this compound is not equal to 0. Why the dipole moment of this compound is not equal to 0? We'll discuss about that one. Based upon the bond angle, here the bond angle between the sulfur and hydrogen. Sulfur and hydrogen is going to be like this. Because of this one, it is not going to be almost symmetric in nature. So this molecule is not having zero dipole moment. So all para-isomers are not having zero dipole moment. So usually wherever mono atom substitution is present, for that dipole moment is equal to zero. These are the some physical properties. Even if you can go with the density depends upon the molecular mass of the compound. If you go with the density of the compound, alkyl iodide is having highest density compared to alkyl bromide, which is having more density compared to alkyl chloride. Next one is going to be alkyl fluoride. So this is the order of density of corresponding halogen derivatives, provided alkyl group is going to be almost same. So these are the some important physical properties of these haloalkanes as well as haloarine compounds. After this haloalkanes, physical properties of haloalkanes and haloarines, next one we have to concentrate upon the chemical properties. Most important one is going to be the chemical properties of haloalkanes as well as haloarine compounds. So that is most important point, and in that particular properties of the compound we have to discuss about the optical isomerism also, as I have mentioned in yesterday's class. In chemical properties of haloalkanes, first we will complete about haloalkanes, later on we will go with haloarines. So all the chemical properties are classified into three different types of properties. First one, it is nucleophilic substitution reactions. Nucleophilic substitution reactions. First, various nucleophilic substitution reactions we come across, how they react with aqueous KOH, how they react with aqueous NaOH, how they react with silver cyanide, how they react with the potassium cyanide. So many compounds. In that there is a formation of various type of products. Second set of reaction is going to be the elimination reactions. We come across with the elimination reactions also. Elimination reactions, usually in case of these reactions we use the particular substance, that is alcoholic KOH, potassium hydroxide. If aqueous KOH is used, it undergoes substitution reaction. If alcoholic KOH is used, it undergoes elimination reactions. Then next one, we have to discuss reaction with metals. How these compounds react with the various types of metals. Sodium is there, copper is there, so many different types of metals we have to discuss. So all these reactions of haloalkanes and haloarines are classified into three different types. Nucleophilic substitution reaction. Nucleophilic substitution reaction, very simple. Here a nucleophile attacks on the particular alkyl halide molecule, formation of various types of product takes place. That nucleophile may be OH minus, that nucleophile may be H2O, that nucleophile may be NH3 ammonia, various types of nucleophile, that is it may be RO minus, it may be corresponding cyanide, it may be respective NO2 minus. So many types of nucleophiles we come across. We have to discuss about the properties of all these nucleophilic substitution reaction. In this nucleophilic substitution reaction, we come across with two important mechanism also. One is SN1 reaction, next one is going to be SN2 reaction or SN2 mechanism. It is unimolecular nucleophilic substitution reaction. It is bimolecular nucleophilic substitution reaction. Both are very important for board examination as well as for competitive examination. So mechanism of unimolecular nucleophilic substitution and mechanism of bimolecular nucleophilic substitution reaction. What's the difference between SN1 and SN2 reaction, in addition to all these different types of reactions. After that, we have to go with elimination reactions of alkyl halides as well as alkyl halides only, and reaction with metals. This is applicable for both haloalkanes as well as haloarines. Here also we come across with number of named reaction also, like Woods reaction is there, Woods-Fittig reaction is there, Fitic reaction we come across, Ullmann reaction, so many types of named reactions are also there. So now we have to start with nucleophilic substitution reaction. So today we'll wind up the class with this particular properties. So tomorrow we'll start the class with the nucleophilic substitution reaction. So many reactions we come across in case of nucleophilic. Elimination, it is going to be quite simple, one or two reagents are going to be there, and in case of this one also few reactions we have to discuss. So after completion of this one, we have to go with the polyhalogen compounds, preparation and properties of polyhalogen compounds. Students, tomorrow we will start with nucleophilic substitution reaction, very important point, and we have to discuss about tomorrow. Probably we may come across with even mechanism of SN1 and SN2. What are the differences between SN1 and SN2 mechanism, and in case of elimination reaction I will discuss about even with E1 and E2 reaction also, elimination, unimolecular elimination and bimolecular elimination reaction. Okay, tomorrow once again we will start with nucleophilic substitution reactions. Thank you.